almost completed my UK knife show knives. This is the UK Knife Show 2018. I've just got one more sheath to finish, which is, well, the sheath's finished, but it's being wet moulded for this knife. These knives, I haven't even stropped them yet, so I've got my day's stropping here to do. But what I'm going to do is just clean the blades up and then present them to you for you all to see. In total, I've managed to build 13 classics. I think I've got one which has got a full tang. The rest of them are 4mm with tapered tangs, and I've got 4 3mm classics with straight tangs. I've also managed to build 12 wasps. So this wasps and classics I'm taking with me. Some of them have got fire steels. This one's a U fire steel. Well, they've all got 9mm ferro rods, so I've got 4. I think I've got 4 with fire steels. They've all got danglers, belt danglers, belt droppers, whatever you want to call them, and they've all got stabilised woods. So that should, I would say they haven't all. Some of them have got snake wood, some of them have got macassar, some of them have got rather cocobolo, and there's a couple with desert ironwood. So what I'll do is run through the knives one by one with you, so you can see what I've got on display. What I will say, anyone that's making the effort to come to the UK Knife Show, and if I've sold out when you get there, don't worry. If you've made the effort to get there, I'll take an order. I've got no orders. I don't normally take orders. I only do it for the knife show, for those people that have made an effort to get to the show. So when I get back, I'll have a little bit of time off, and then in July I'll build those knives up. So anyone that's come to the show and I've sold out, let me know. Let me have your order, and I'll build that knife next month for you. So without any further ado, I'll get these knives cleaned up and present them one at a time. So this is knife number 1. This is a classic in 3mm 01 with snakewood, loveless bolts, red G10 liners, an all round very nice knife. They've all been triple tempered and hardened to 59 Rockwell. And this will come with right-handed sheath. In this case it's a black sheath with matching red thread and a belt dropper. You get a logo on all of these. You get a logo on the belt dropper, and you also get a logo on the sheath. Now on to the next knife. Again, they're all right-handed sheaths, by the way. Anyone who wants left-handed sheath, I haven't got any, but I will build a left-handed sheath if requested. Probably best not to buy a knife from the knife show from me in that case. Place an order and I'll build that next month. So this is a 4mm stock with a tapered tang, black G10 liners. All the liners fitted with knives. I use G10 now. It's a much better material. Often get asked what's the purpose of a liner. These days it's just aesthetics. Years and years ago, when the epoxies and the glues weren't so good and people were using woods like straight oak and what have you, you had the tannin in the wood could leach through into the steel and cause rusting and all sorts, and the liner really served as a gasket to prevent that, and also to act as a decoration. These days it's just a decoration. Tapered tang. Another question I get asked, what's the benefit of a tapered tang over a straight tang? There's the two side by side. So visually, if you can see that, I'll zoom in. Visually it's just much more pleasing to look at, in my opinion. It's a personal relative thing. Also it lightens the knife somewhat and still retaining plenty of strength. So this knife is stabilised Massa birch, loveless bolts, black G10 4mm. Quite a few with Massa birch. This one again, is it a tapered? No, this is a straight. No, it is tapered. It's not Massa birch either. This is stabilised maple, bird's eye maple, with leveless bolts. Tapered tang. And I've got 25mm scales on most of these. Some of them are a bit thinner where I had to work with thinner stock. I had some, I'll show you a piece of desert ironwood in a minute that I worked with. The next one's a U knife, stabilised U. So this one is stabilised U, again with black G10 liners and a tapered tang. This one comes with a fire steel as well. This has got a 9mm, as I said earlier, all 9mm ferro rods. I'm still waiting for some shock cord so I can shock them around to retain them. The next one's also a U knife. Again, this is in 4mm with red liners, a tapered tang, and it comes with a black sheath with matching red thread. Next up, desert ironwood. Next up is this desert ironwood classic. Black G10 liners. Very, very dense hardwood, desert ironwood. Not massively figured, so but still a nice piece of wood. A lovely knife. 4mm thick. I haven't done any mosaic pins this year. I just simply didn't have the time to go to Birmingham to collect the pieces that I needed to make the pins. So I've just gone with loveless bolts this year. Here's the next knife. So this is a nice piece of stabilised Massa birch. The Massa birch was sent to me by a chap in Norway, a very well known and respected bushcraft instructor by the name of Frederick Roy Ramberg. So if you're watching this, Frederick, thank you very much for sending the wood. It stabilised up beautifully and has some very nice pieces. So this is again 4mm tapered tang, black G10 liners. The next one. This is a desert ironwood. This is a particularly lovely piece of desert ironwood. It was I was sent these by a friend of mine, John. Thank you very much for sending me the scales, John. The scales were very, very thin, and so I had to accommodate that and make the handle of this knife thin also. So it may not be to everyone's suiting. I actually quite like it. I've got really good sort of medium to large hands, and I can get on with that. But I think it would be more suitable to a lady or someone perhaps with smaller hands. But again, knife fit is a very individual and personal thing. Classic in desert ironwood. This is 3mm non-tapered red G10 liners. It also comes with a black sheath and dangler, and I've also got matching ferro rod, again in desert ironwood. The next knife. This is a very attractive 3mm knife, so 3mm stock, 3mm thickness, fitted with cocobolo. Not a wood I find very pleasant to machine because it's an irritant. It makes my skin itch. I think this one's got black G10 liners. A bit difficult to see the colours when I'm looking into the light. So that's the 3mm. Sheath has yellow thread and a dropper, belt dropper. Again, this is in the 3mm. This time we've got stabilised maple with a few bird's eyes in it, and black G10 liners. Next one's a matching set, dropper, fire steel, matching fire steel. And this wood, I don't know what this wood's called, unfortunately. I know the block of wood was stabilised and it came from burl source over in the States. So it's very hard, well stabilised, very pretty red colour to it. So it could be some sort of red ambonia, whatever they call it. It's a burl. With black G10 liners. And the last of the classics that I've got sheaves built for at the moment. This is another tapered tang. Black G10 liners, loveless bolts, and another piece of stabilised massa birch. They've all got apex pommels, they've all got 25 approximately to the palm swell there, apart from one or two which I've made slightly different because of the thicknesses of woods. I've done some recently with even thicker handles, and I found them very comfortable, but they did look a bit bulky, I thought, so I slimmed them back down again. And lastly, I've got this knife here. This is the only this is the last classic I've got. I'm waiting for the sheath to be finished. It's been built. I'm just waiting for it to dry from the wet forming, and this will have a fire steel and a right-handed belt dropper sheath. This is the only straight tang. I showed you it earlier. Moving on, I've got 12 classics, all in stabilised woods, all with different colour sheaves. I've got 5 with walnut, and here's one of them. Just a lovely little knife. I really enjoy making these, and I use one exclusively. It's one of the knives that I use the most, actually, because I have it on my person all the time. So not only when I'm out wild camping and bushcrafting, but also when I'm at my allotment or working in the garden, I've always got one of these in my pocket or around my neck. The sheath comes with 2 little holes to allow you to wear it on a sort of a lanyard around your neck if you want. So altogether 12 of these, and some of them got very, very pretty woods. There's another one with this has got stabilised massa birch. I've got one in yew wood. Bit of English yew. Very happy with the knives I've produced this year. It's been a lot of work. I've been working more or less non-stop 7 days a week for several weeks. I'm getting a bit tired. After the knife show I tend to have a few days off, before I get my nose back to the grindstone again. Hope to do some more videos. I haven't done many videos on YouTube. What with the changing of the algorithm and the monetization, it's just monetization on your YouTube videos is just ridiculous. It's not, you don't do it for the money. You just do it for the enjoyment value and for sharing your experiences and whatever it is you're doing in the workshop, basically. That's how I view YouTube at the moment. I've got some ideas for interesting videos to help other knife makers out with a few hints and tips that I've learnt over the last 8 years that I've been building knives. I'm still picking up, I'm still learning little ideas, you know, little ways of improving, or little ways also of improving my routines to build the knives a little quicker. But having said that, it's still an enormously lengthy, hands-on intensive process to build these knives. So I think output's always going to remain relatively low. I am hoping to work with a friend regarding the leather work. We've got a very good family friend, and she's almost like, well, she is like a sister to me, and her name's Lorraine, and she's indicated that she'd like to have a bit of a change in her lifestyle with regarding her work. So I'm training her up to do some leather work, and I think she's going to be a really good leather worker. So that will free me up to produce a few more knives and hopefully satisfy a bit more demand, and of course earn a bit more money, which should be handy. So with that, I look forward to meeting some of you at the UK Knife Show this coming Sunday. I'm filming this on Thursday, the 21st of June, and the knife show's on the 24th of June. I'm also hoping to get to the Preppers Meet down in Stevenage the end of the last weekend of June. I don't know if I'll have any knives to sell. If I do have any knives left over after the UK Knife Show, then they'll be available on my website. And just to reiterate that if I do sell all my knives and you do come to the show and they're all sold, I will take an order from you, and I will build that knife in the month of July. Unless of course I get inundated, and obviously because I only build these in small numbers, it may take longer than a month to supply that knife, but it'll be done pretty prompt. So with that, I'll say thanks for watching. I'm really looking forward to the show. A bit tired now, I'm a bit tired, but I think when the show comes I'll be sort of livened up and with it, so to speak. And so I'll be looking forward to meeting up with old friends as well. So hope you've enjoyed my 2018 UK Knife Show knives. Thanks for watching.